Stars, I'm a fool for your love.
Hey guys, you join me here on Slum86 and we are back on Cattle and Crops. So today will be a shorter episode again. What we are doing, obviously feeding our bulls and making sure everything is going a-okay in the shed. And after that we are going to do a quick crop tour and scout the crops. We have everything seeded now that we need to have seeded. So it is just a case of checking on them, make sure they're growing okay and healthily. And we'll check in on the conditions of the field. I do believe we have a little bit of fertilizer left to spread out there, so we'll be looking to get that done as well in the near future. For those wondering as well, guys, I do believe it's been quiet with the last it's probably closing in now nearly on 2 months since the last update with the soil and performance one, and the developers have kind of gone quiet. So not 100% sure of what's going on there, but what we have so far is a pretty decent game. Yes, it's unfinished in some areas, so fingers crossed they're still working on it. And the last I saw from the development streams was the functioning multiplayer and a couple of other bits and pieces. So I know multiplayer is probably the big one that people want in the game. So fingers crossed that the guys and girls over in, I believe Germany is where they're based, are still beavering away and working on the product for us. Because as I say, what they've given us so far, I don't think you'd be too upset with. Yes, there's a couple of things not in the game, but as I say, they're in development, or at least last I heard they were in development. So fingers crossed we get a bit of news soon. I'm hoping with the end of June coming and being the end of the quarter that there'll be some news come out of that. Fingers crossed. But for now, we only can do what we have. So we're going to tip away, as I say, just looking after our cattle. Obviously we need to make sure as well that we've nothing to be close for selling. There probably is a few, we'll have to give it a little check, and if we can we will sell them on. And as I say, we're just going to do a quick tour of the crops here in a second once we get the last 2 pins here fed, and we'll see how we're faring up. So it's looking like it's going to be a good year for us. If we can pull everything off that we have in the pipeline, we should be looking pretty strong to purchase a little bit more land and really grow and develop the farm, which is where we're kind of aiming to go with it anyway. So I think we'll keep leasing the equipment short term. It would be nice obviously to get a bigger tractor and even invest in the harvester and stuff, but as I say, we'll just have to see how we go on it. So first field we're going to check in here is field 14, the wheat. As you can see, the wheat is up. It's a little bit higher in some areas, or is that just my eyes? Not 100% sure. Looks to be a little bit higher in certain areas, so it's growing a little bit inconsistently. We have a strip down here that looks pretty good, so we'll check our field and see how it's looking. Wrong button, Liam. So if we get into, I think it's field 14 is what we're on, and we'll scroll away down and we'll just check the conditions. So if we bring up, the first one is nitrogen. So you can see where the darker strips are and where the heavier strips are is probably where the nitrogen is that little bit higher on the field, so it's not too bad. If we go to phosphate, again you'll see the similar kind of a process. Not sure what happened there when we were spreading. Something went a little bit thin on this here. Either we traveled too fast or something like that. Not too sure. But we can see we're very low on the density of the crumbs. The field top is very soft, and the upper soil density is also pretty well broken up. So it's looking good that way. And we have 94% low clay silt, which looks to me to be here, which is in What's that giving us? I can't quite remember, but I think this is a good section of field to be in. Um, so I think it's looking good that way. What we might do is just shoot out here and check on this field here as well, just while we're at it. Actually, the lighter strips seems to be more, darker 0. So it's lacking in potassium, but what we need for the crops we're growing, wrong button again, scroll up. So we need, we can just about see it there. So we are short on potassium. So we do need to increase the potassium of the field, and I'd say that could be across the board. This one isn't bad actually. This one we are overdone on. This one needs potassium. Across the road. We are all okay on that. So actually what we'll do is we'll shoot down here to this field, and this field is probably going to be strong as well. And we'll just have a wee look and see how they're getting on. So we'll shoot down to field 16, which is this way. And we'll just compare the evenness of the crop as we go across that field. Obviously it's in its early growth stage, so it'll be kind of hard to tell. And from there we will shoot straight up to the maize field. But getting down here we can see it's similar kind of pattern across the field. I hope that's been picked up in the compression ratios, but you can see some of it's more advanced than other strips. So, and I can't see a reason for it on the screen, so it is interesting. And as I say, we're just going to quickly run over here and check the large field of maize. It was the last one planted. So again, I'm hoping for kind of an even stand. But as I say, I do think we have some potassium to be spreading. And you can see just this section here of the field seems to be lacking something. Doesn't seem as green. Although as I move in across the field, there's definitely darker green in here, a little bit lighter green. But you can see the couple of patches of yellow towards the ends of the field where I might have missed with a sprayer, or the manure sprayer even when we were doing it. So we'll definitely have to check that out, but the stand here looks a lot more even. I think it's safe to say that. Something here, I'm not sure what it is. Nope, it's looking pretty even. So I think we're okay with the maize. And again, I think if we jump in and check our field for maize, we are well short on potassium. So we will have to do a round trip around the fields. Actually, this field also needs nitrogen. And if we go down here, we are nearly okay for nitrogen, but again, potassium's lacking. Check over here, potassium's lacking. Check over here, potassium is lacking. So we definitely need to spread some potassium around our fields, and we'll be doing that shortly. So that'll be one of the next jobs to be done on the farm. And it's just a case of get the health right up there. Now, out of curiosity, I am going to run down here to field. That's not field 14, it's field 19. So we'll go back this way, and I'm just curious to see how that stand is looking. Even actually we're closer to, I think it might be 17. There are similar kind of values on fertilizer. These were over applied, so it's always interesting to see the different stand. And you can see here it's looking a little bit more even, so the extra fertilizer don't think it's stunted it yet, and it seems to be a lot more even. Doesn't seem to have the clumpiness we're getting in the other fields, so that's just one interesting thing to note. So before we head back to the farm, we're just going to have one quick look at our animals, and we're going to do them by weight. This tends to be what we do, and so we don't seem to have, oh, that's the dealer. I was wondering, I was getting worried there for a second. So if we go stock weight, So we have a couple. So we have barn 1, barn 7, 7, 7, barn 1. So we've a couple of animals that look like they're starting to touch. We've only 2 here at the moment, and these 3 shouldn't be long getting there. So we'll keep an eye on that, and once they reach that magic weight number of 700 kgs, we will be looking to ship them out and ship in 5 more. So that could be something to do there as well in a couple of weeks, maybe a month or 2. We'll just have to see how it all plays out. So that is just a quick update for those wondering. Our balance sheet. So far for the year, we are running at a loss of 30,000. Hopefully by the time the year ends, we should be back in a positive numbers. This is where our money has gone. So from animals we have made 52,000, and we have spent 16 in replacing it. So definitely money to be made there. The biogas has made us 14,000. Where we spent money, the 30,000 that we spent is on the field. So that's where we're lacking a bit of money, and purchasing vehicles. Not 100% sure what we purchased, but all could have been the seeders even to start the year. So those couple of things. So far on crops, we have spent 5 grand. Nothing on fertilizer yet, but as you see, we need potassium to go out, so that will be increased as well. And we'll have a quick look in our tank traders. So all our animals are fully looked after, as we just done it. The digestate tank at the BJ is full to the brim, so we can't sell our remaining chaff here. So we just got to hold on to that until we can empty this out, which will be towards the end of the year again. We have a little bit of NPK as well in one of our farm storages, not a whole pile, but might be handy somewhere. Have a little bit of rye as well left over, and we have a little bit of wheat as well left over from last year, so we'll hold on to them until we can build them back up. We have a drop of nitrogen in the farm liquid tank, which is handy. Silo 2 has 325,000 litres remaining, so that's got to see us through till after harvest and fermenting time. Bull slurry has built up nicely to 140,000, and we have wheat seed and we have maize seed, so that should be enough to see us through possibly next year's seeding. Obviously, depending on the wheat, we might end up buying a little bit more, or we could end up splitting fields and do wheat and rye again. So that is the current state of the farm, guys. If I just select field 1, so what we will be looking to do at some stage as well is spread out. We'll try and get this field next if we can, which is 60 odd thousand. So if we have a good year with animals and stuff and the crops go well, we should be looking to purchase this one, and that will block up the fields nicely. Failing that, we will look towards a smaller area. Need to zoom back in, which will be over this direction maybe. We'll try and keep it as close to the farm as we can. I don't know why I can't quite see all of it. There we go. So we will try and keep as close to the main farm as we can, so we'll be looking maybe this direction. Worst comes to worst, we might push out for these two as well. And eventually we'll end up with this giant big block and we'll all be happy. So that's it, guys. I think I've waffled on here for long enough. We'll come back the next day. We'll be doing our field work, checking out for our fields, and we'll see what other goodies and treats we can find ourselves along the way. So that's it, guys. I've been Snow86. This has been a quick update on cattle and crops and how the farmers are progressing. And as always, guys, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you all again. Take care.